What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. And if this is your first one, welcome. And today I'm going to be ranking all 4 Sly Cooper games from, in my opinion, best to worst, just like I did with all 14 Ratchet & Clank games and all 6 Jak and Daxter games. Can you tell I like PlayStation games? But starting off this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about, obviously, Sly 1, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Erlakunis, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Milakunis, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Erlagamagugus. It goes by many names for me, apparently. But the first Sly Cooper game has such a special place in my heart. It's one of the first games I ever remember playing alongside Ratchet & Clank, God of War, and GTA. Obviously, the latter two probably not being games that a kid should play, but you know, when you have a dad that buys pretty much every game, you know, that's what you get. You get your kid sneaking onto the console at night to blast people in GTA while playing it on mute so he doesn't wake anybody up. Ah, good times. Now, luckily, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus was not a game that I needed to go ahead and, you know, mute to play. There was no QTE sex scenes or people getting their heads chopped off or nothing. Nope, just good old-fashioned fun. I should say good old-fashioned platforming fun, because PlayStation really had it going on with these platformers in the early 2000s, man, I tell ya. And Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus is, I think, the epitome of just a simple, fun, linear, perfect adventure with a character that is actually not just a character, a cast of characters that is instantly likable and you connect to so fast. Like the snap of a fucking finger, you love these guys, man. Bentley, Murray, and Sly are the greatest trio next to Alan, Phil, and Stu. And that's high praise.
That's high praise!
Bottom line, Sly 1 started it all, and I still have such a massive love for this game, and I really think it has aged well. And that is why I am placing this firmly in S tier. And when it comes to Sly 2, I gotta be honest, it's more of the same. Not the same gameplay-wise. Like, yes, core gameplay-wise, Sly 2 and Sly 1 are pretty much exactly the same. But Sly 2 does a fantastic job of opening up the missions a little bit more, just giving you extra freedom. And in my opinion, it gives you just as good of a story with some good twists in there. It's just, again, everything that you want a sequel to be. Even playing these two again now and playing them back to back, I like each one more than the other for different reasons. There's just a different vibe to each, whether it be the sound that Sly makes when he gets a key in the first one, or the sound that's made when you complete a job in the second one. Like, different nostalgic things, little things in each one is what makes them feel so unique. And it's so funny that these two games can be so closely connected, obviously be sequels to each other, but yet feel like they are pretty separated. Like, obviously the story is continued, but the vibe is just different. And I think, honestly, the vibe in the second one is just as good, if not better, than the first one. Which makes it pretty obvious that this game, as well, is going to join Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus in the S tier. Alright, so I acknowledge that I have done nothing but glaze the first two games, and to be honest, it's really not going to stop with Sly 3, because I think Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves is another solid-ass game. But I can't lie in saying that it is, in my opinion, the weakest of the first 3 games. That being said, it still has everything that you love in a Sly Cooper game. You got Sly, Bentley, and Murray, the same core gameplay mechanics that made the first two fun, but I just feel like the maps and the villains and stuff just aren't as strong as the first two, and that's really it for me. Like, the game is made just as well. There's a nice amount of wrinkles they throw in the gameplay with different characters you get to use, including Carmelita, who is so fun to use. You finally being able to use that shock pistol on somebody else for once, good God, that was a beautiful time. But with that being said, that's really where the new portions and more entertaining portions of the game end. And outside of being able to use some other different characters, really nothing changes. And again, the story and the villains I just don't think are as strong as 1 and 2. But that being said, it still is a great and fun game, and I would sit it comfortably in A tier. It just doesn't take that extra step for me and reach its predecessors. And now we move on to the final game in the series, and that is Sly 4 Thieves in Time. Excuse me, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Yeah, they went ahead and added the Cooper back for this title. I don't know, they dropped the number. It's probably because it was made years later. I believe it's a different publisher. I don't think it's Sucker Punch that made Thieves in Time. It's, whatever. You know what? We have the 4th game in the series, and to be honest, for me, I love this game. And yes, this game does have its issues. The first being the fact that it's not made by Sucker Punch. The game really had to be made from scratch, and it does feel different. The way Sly jumps feels a bit different. The way that you Spire jump, different things just feel like just so subtly different that it's Sly Cooper, but you gotta get used to it again, if that makes sense. Like, if you're a big fan of the first 3, the 4th one might take a little getting used to. I do also think that part of the choppy parkour may have been me having to play on the PlayStation Now thing, which absolutely fucking sucks balls. Yeah, I love that they ported the first 3, man. It's so much better being able to play on a PS4 or PS5 port. But again, there are a few negatives that I can draw towards Thieves in Time, but for me, this is a very nostalgic piece of media. I played the absolute living fuck out of this game on my PS Vita, which recently died. RIP to my Vita. You were a good soldier. Got that bitch on my birthday when I was 12 years old. And just to be clear, I'm 25 now. Holy fuck. Time is a song bitch, I tell you. Anyway, enough about getting older. Back to the Vita. Tried to use it on a plane ride recently and, booted that bitch up. It was on for 2 seconds, couldn't tap anything on the screen, went black, never powered up again. It just said, I'm tired, boss. Put me out the pasture. Anyway, be that as it may, I had a blast with this game. It was actually the first platinum I ever got, which is on a lost dead account that I can never get back, so I can't actually have the platinum in my platinum collection. But this is the first game I actually ever gave a shit to go after platinum trophy. Go after platinum trophy? I sounded like Nick and New Girl, like, give me cookie, guy, you cookie.
Give me cookie, guy, you cookie.
Just skipping words. I guess I could go back and try to get the platinum now, but honestly, I was looking at the trophy list and whatever. The first 2 games trophy lists were fun. The third and fourth one were just tedious to me. Sly 4 is an interesting game to me. It's got a lot of nostalgia connected to it, but when I take those blinders off a little bit and I just compare them to the rest of the games, it's the worst one of the 4. It's the worst boss fight wise, it's the worst story wise, in certain aspects. I do really, really love the ancestor Coopers, mainly Tennessee Kid Cooper and Bob Cooper. Those guys are my homies. I'd die for those dogs. And also Carmelita's character in the 4th one finally gets expanded to a point where I really just ended up loving her character. They gave her a little bit more to work with in Sly 3 and even in Sly 2 to a certain extent, especially towards the end. But Sly 4, she is consistently in it. You just learn more about her character, her feelings, and her overall just, I guess just why she has the attitude she does. And if I had to be straight up about it, I would say Carmelita is my favorite part of Sly 4. Like, even gameplay-wise, her shock pistol is just as insane as it was in Sly 3. Maybe a little bit less OP, but still insanely fun to use. Again, it's just fun not to be shot at by that thing for once. So Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, I think, is still a solid game, though it does not reach the height of 1, 2, or even 3. Those games were just better, and I think it's because they were made by a better studio. No offense to the people that made this game, because I think they did a overall pretty solid job for having to follow up 3 of the most iconic games for a lot of people my age coming up in the early 2000s. But at the end of the day, Sly 4 is still the weakest of them all, and even, being the weakest of them all, this is still a B tier for me. Like, playing it again, I obviously see its flaws a lot more than when I was a kid. And again, it is definitely the weakest of the 3, but I still just think it is a overall really fun game, and despite the character design changes, the overall tonal shift that was inevitably going to happen, because again, it's not made by the people that made the first 3. I think Thieves in Time is a solid game, and it sucks that this game ended on such a cliffhanger with no sign of a sequel in sight. I got a comment on my Thieves in Time video the other day. By the way, I make gameplay videos on like all these, like if you haven't seen them or are curious to watch them, I will leave a link in the description. But I've done gameplay videos on all the things I've done tier lists on, so Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, and Sly Cooper. But I got a comment on my Thieves in Time video that broke my heart because somebody said like Sly Cooper's got to be in production like 2025 or 2026. I'm like, oh, you poor soul. Like, I love the optimism, but dear God, if you actually think we're getting a Sly Cooper game within the next 2 years, you are drunk. It's not happening. And if it does happen, I will eat my own dick and I will play the game like crazy with no dick. Unfortunately, I feel like Sly Cooper has just been a bit forgotten, and it sucks too, being one of the original PlayStation IPs that made PlayStation what it was and as popular as it is today. But really, the only series that has survived is Ratchet and Clank. And that's why when doing these tier lists, you go from 14 games with RNC to 6 games with Jak and Daxter, and now, this video is only 4 games with Sly Cooper. Ironically, I actually think it's the longest one. I don't know why I rambled so much on this one. I just had some thoughts, I guess. If you made it to the end of this video, you are a fucking savage. I love the hell out of you. I don't know what I did for gameplay in this video, because I feel like a video this long, I should probably throw in some gameplay. So I'm not sure if I'll have footage from all 4 games, because once I made my gameplay videos, I got rid of the raw footage. So I might be able to go back and get some like Sly 1 and Sly 2 and just throw that behind there, and then obviously throw up the tier list when, it's appropriate. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to let me know what you thought, and if you agree with my ratings, disagree, and if you do disagree, let me know why. I'm always curious. I'm never gonna judge. Thieves in Time could be an S tier for you. I'm not gonna judge that. I think most people that love Sly Cooper, any of the Sly Coopers, just want to see Sly 5 get made, and honestly, this community of fans seems so wholesome. Like, I've been on Twitter, and Twitter is a cesspool. We all know this. And there are some Sly Cooper pages that I follow, and man, it's just always nice. Just good people saying good things and just reminiscing on games that they love and just wanting it to come back. I think Sony really needs to jump on that, and I think they'd be surprised at how many Sleeper fans are still around for not only Sly Cooper, but Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. Well, obviously Ratchet and Clank's still going, but Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper are the two forgotten ones that I'm a huge fan of, and I really, really hope that at some time they just swallow their fucking pride and quit trying to act like nobody cares about these games for some reason, like the one dude did for Sony like a year ago or something, or maybe even less than a year ago, saying like PlayStation has no good original IPs. Like, suck a dick. Do you even know who you're working for? But anyway, I just wanted to make this video to share my overall love for this series, because yes, I make gameplay videos, but it's not always easy to convey how much these games really mean to me when I'm just talking while I'm playing. Being able to jabber like a butt plug about games and things, or games, movies, just things that I love is one of my favorite things to do because it just makes me happy. And Sly Cooper is one of those things that straight up makes me happy, and I hope that someday we are graced with Sly 5 and some tagline coming across our screen. Will it probably happen? No, but you know, we can all hope. And I think with the success of Astro Bot, maybe that helps a bit. And it also sounds like a lot of people downloaded, bought, and played the new PS5 port to Sly Cooper, which obviously also helps a ton. Lets people know we still care. Bringing back that platformer, baby. But yeah, guys, that'll go ahead and do it. This is my final rankings. Again, if you agree, let me know. If you don't, let me know why. Or don't. Do what you want. But that'll go ahead and do it for the video, guys. Peace.